Okay, welcome back. This tutorial is going to cover how to manipulate or use the default Iracing patterns, designs, textures, whatever you want to call them. First, let me apologize if you have trouble understanding me. If you want to know why I slur, you can watch the first minute or two of the first tutorial in this series. With that being said, let's get started. The Iracing, the Iracing patterns and stuff come with each template, and they're in basically red, blue, and green. 100% red, 100% blue, 100% green. Those are the colors that you see. And they did that, I believe, for a reason, so it's easier for us to manipulate them. Also, just so you guys can find it, there was a tutorial done, which was a sticky by Alex and Fournelle, and I apologize, Alex, I'm sure I butchered your last name. If you go to the general painting discussions, it's a sticky up here at the top. It's a great read, and it primarily talks about it with the example as Photoshop CS being used instead of Gimp. Although if you read it, it will make a lot of things much clearer and help a bunch. And as a matter of fact, I briefly went through it just to kind of touch bases again because it's been a while since I've played with them, and really Alex deserves all the credit here, and he deserves the credit for this tutorial. But read it regardless, and it'll help you understand what I'm gonna run you through. Again, Alex Fournelle, great job, buddy, and thank you. So a lot of the newer painters tend to use the iRacing default schemes and play with them just to get their feet wet, or even the veterans will use them occasionally. Say you wanted this specific pinstripe that you see here, this blue one. And that's what this is all about, is how to pull out just that color. I mean, you could use a color wand, but you're always going to end up with a very rough edge, and it just never looks quite right. Well, because they're 100% green or blue or red, you can get to them through your channels. But the first thing you need to do is, and I opened up just the default template from iRacing. I know we have a project going with our Gimp car, but for this example or this tutorial, we're just going to use the default iRacing template. The first thing you want to do is close out everything but the pattern, the layer that you're using over here on the right. All of this needs to be closed, because when we go to grab that color, and that's what we're doing, we're grabbing the color, we're not grabbing the pattern, but because that color is in the pattern, that's how you get it, or you know, that design. So we want to make sure we close everything out, so when we grab that color, even though the hood pins are black, or you know, some of these contingencies have maybe a little bit of green in them or whatnot, you want to make sure those are all closed. Everything gets closed out, but the top template you're working with. And then what you need to do is change this base color to black. It just makes things easier when we're playing with the channels. Now, default, Gimp doesn't show your channels tab up here. To get to it, just go to Windows up here at the top, go down to Dockable Dialogues, and then let's scroll over and find Channels. Click on Channels, and there it is. And then I like to move this over just so it's on the same toolbar, basically. So we got our Layers tab and our Channels tab, and you just click on whichever one you're using at the time. Now these bottom ones we can go ahead and leave open. You're not going to see them because, well, you know what, we'll close them so I can show you some other examples of some things that we can do as well. But for this example, what we're going to do is we're just going to take that blue pinstripe, we're going to change the color, and get rid of everything else. And it's fairly simple to do, and again, if I miss something, I apologize, but it, you know, for our purposes, it shouldn't be too difficult. And it'll kind of make sense the more as we go through this. The first thing I did though was I went ahead and exported what we had. But let's do that again. Let's export this So you go to File, Export, and we're going to export it to, I'll show you the path again, I've done it in every video, Documents, Iracing, Paint. Now, understand something, and maybe I'll do a tutorial just for trading paints, but once you click on the paints folder, all these new folders here, these are created when you get into a practice session. These are the new ones that Iracing uses, and they use it for a couple different reasons, alpha layers, but it also allows you to have separate helmets and suits for each car. However, Trading Paints are not set up to use these new folders yet. Trading Paints still uses the old folders, which is under this Cars folder. So when you upload to Trading Paints, it puts it in one of these new Cars folders. Now, the problem with that is, if you have something in one of these folders, it gets read first by Iracing. So if you have something here, say in the Gen 6, I have a paint here. If I uploaded something to Trading Paints, it doesn't matter what that is, this is the paint that's going to get read. It always gets read first. If it finds something, it stops. If this is empty, then it goes to the older folders, which Trading Paints uses, and then looks in here. So if you're uploading to Trading Paints and you're having trouble seeing your cars, the first thing you should do is make sure it's not one of these new folders. But for this purpose, we're just going to go ahead and do it right into the Paints folder, into one of the new folders, which is Stock Car Chevy SS. Double click on this because we already have one here. If you don't have one here, you want to name it car underscore your ID number.tga, and that's where you put it. If you're doing it in the old folders, you don't do car underscore, you just do your number.tga. Alright? So let's move forward. We've covered that many times. We'll replace that. Export. Now, every time we make a change here, if we hold Control and hit R, it'll automatically export to the last place you did it. So every time you make a small change and just want to see it in the sim, you just hit Control and hit, Control R in the sim refreshes the paint. If we make a change here, for example, let's just go to this one. Hold Control, hit E, it exports it right to the last place that you did it, so you don't have to go through that whole path again. But once you're done and you want to export this so that you can upload it to Trading Paints, you're going to have to go to File and hit Export and then download it somewhere. You'll find it later for uploading to Trading Paints. So we changed it real quick. Hold Control, hit E, it exports it to the last place it did. You go into the sim, hold Control, hit R, and you'll see it changes here to what the last one was. But let's go back to what we had. This pattern, because we're going to show you how to change this blue pinstripe. Control E, back into the sim, Control R. Now this blue pinstripe, for example, let's say that's what we wanted to change. And maybe we just wanted just that blue pinstripe. We don't want any of the rest of these colors. And I'll show you how to do that. We've grabbed our channels. We've got everything shut off, but the pattern that we're using. And then the base color. We go over to channels. Now, pay attention. If you want this blue pinstripe, then you want the blue channel. Go to channels. Find your blue one. When you click on it, you don't want to highlight it like that. Click it again so it's blue. Then just right click, your right mouse button. You can either channel to selection or add to selection. It does the same thing. That's add to selection. Control Z backs out what you last did. Or right click, channel to selection. Same thing. Now we go back to layers. And because we want this blue pinstripe, and only that blue pinstripe, we don't want the rest of this pattern, what we're going to do is create a new layer. Right click where you want to create the new layer. Go up to new layer. Okay. There's our new layer. We can make this invisible. And then all we see is that black base. Let's change that to orange. Grab your bucket fill tool, fill whole selection, click your orange button, and then it does a fill there. Control Shift A will deselect it, or you can go to select and none. And now we have our orange pinstripe. And we can put that on, you know, any car we want. We could put all this stuff back on. And now we have a black car with an orange pinstripe. Hold Control, hit E. Go back to the sim. Hold Control, hit R. And there we have it. We changed the blue pinstripe to orange. Now let's take a different pattern and grab something different. Again, we want to shut all this stuff off because we don't want to grab a color from one of these other layers. Even this orange one can be shut off for now. Let's see. Let's find something. We can leave it on so we can find something that might go with the pinstripe. Probably not that one. No. We probably won't find anything that goes actually good with the pinstripe. Well, let's do this. Let's change, excuse me, all the blue here to orange as well. Alright? And except for, we'll get rid of the blue back here. Just so it kind of goes with it. So we go back to our channels. Let's deselect this one. Go back to our channels. Again, if you click on this and then do it, it won't work because it's not highlighted correctly. It screws everything up. We want blue again, so we just right click, channel to selection, go back to our layers. Now, one of the things we want to do is we didn't want all of everything that was blue. We just want, let's say we just want these things here and the hood blue, the pinstripes on the hood. If you grab your rectangle and hold Control, I think it was Control or Shift. I think Control, and you hold it and go over it. It subtracts that from your selection. Yep, Control. Hold Control. We don't want this to be blue. We'll probably leave that blue. We'll probably leave everything else blue. Maybe we'll... Eventually it's going to be orange, but we're going to hold Control and deselect these fields. So everything that's highlighted is now going to be orange when we do this. We can grab our orange layer again. We can create a new layer if we wanted. Get rid of this. Grab your bucket tool. Make sure it says Fill Whole Selection. Click inside the selection anywhere. Orange. And now everything that was blue before that we still had selected now turns orange. Control Shift A. Now we can hit Control E. And it looks like there's some blue on the outside of some of this stuff. You can go and deselect that later if you want, or turn it black. Control E, export it. You don't need to have these other things on for it to see it. Those things are stamped on anyway. Go into Iracing. Control R. And you can see the orange that we did. And it just replaced whatever we had that was blue. And it looks like crap, but we don't care because we were just showing you how to do it. Let's back out of this. Control Z a couple times. We'll just get right back where we were at with just our orange here. Let's see if we can't find... I'll show you how to do it with a different color. It really doesn't matter. Nah, we don't want that. I'm going to start from the bottom. Let's say, for example, see this blue right here? It just kind of goes over the side of the car by the windows. If we wanted to make that orange, again, go to your channels. Right click on blue. Channel to selection or add to selection. We'll do add to selection this time. Go back to our layers. And we just wanted this, so we need to get rid of all these other selections. Again, grab your rectangle tool or whatever you want to use. You can use your ellipse select tool. Hold Control, We're going to get rid of all this stuff because we don't want it orange. Same thing with all of these. That'll probably be orange because that's up on the side of the window there, and we don't care about the back end. We'll grab our layer, make sure it's selected, grab our orange, and then fill whole selection. We can go ahead and get rid of that just so it doesn't confuse us. Control-Shift-A to deselect. Control-E to export to the last place, which we know is here. Control-R to refresh the paint, and you can see where it changed just those colors. We'll do it one more time with a different color this time. Let's see. I'm not quite sure how you would do. I think if you did, I'm not quite sure how you do the white and black. Alex probably knows, and he's probably written about it. I would suggest going and reading that. Again, that article is really good. Maybe these blue flames on the hood, just on the hood. So we go to channel. Well, we said we did blue already. Let's do green. Let's do a different color. Let's do, we'll just do the green on the hood here. Right click on green. Channel to selection. Again, we want to get rid of, we go back to layers. We want to get rid of everything but just what's on the hood. So to zoom in, hold control, mouse wheel, and then with your tool, hold control, and then, oops, that's in a bad spot. Everything but the hood. So we're just holding, and if you wanted to add a selection, you hold shift. You'll see a little plus sign there. So hold control. We're getting rid of everything but the selection on the hood, and you just hold control down. Just like so. There's a little spot right here. Let's see, do we have anything else? I think we're good. So click on our layer. Make that orange. We can close our pattern down so you can see it. Again, Control-Shift-A. But see how clean those lines are? I mean, they really are pretty clean. Control-E. Open up our sim. Hold Control, hit R. And there you go. That's actually really, I like that design. It would probably look pretty good. It would be a good one for any of you new painters if you want to paint something. But that's how you guys do it. And again, Alex Fournelle deserves all the credit. Thanks, Alex. It was a great read. I think he might even talk about how to work with the gradients. It does work a little bit different in Gimp, like I mentioned before, but he'll get you through the process. You can transfer a lot of this stuff over to Gimp. And I think some other people may have even, all of the buttons are similarly named. So make sure you thank Alex for his help. I know I certainly appreciate it, and it's helped me a lot. So I don't want to drag this out too much longer. I've got some other tutorials I want to get started on. But thank you all for watching, and good luck with your painting. Again, I may have missed a few things. If you close this channels tab out, for example, and you have like blue highlighted or not highlighted off, and you close this out and can't get back to it, then whenever you try to put a color in, it's going to mess it up. It's going to subtract the green or the blue or make it only those colors. I can't remember. I don't have that much experience with it, so I don't want to talk too much about what does what. All I can do is show you how I can go in and grab any color from one of the templates that Iracing has as the default. And it's only because the default templates use 100% either red, green, or blue, which makes it easier to grab those colors. So if you close this channel out, right, and it's not there, or you open it up and it's not there, don't forget Windows, dockable dialogues. I'm sure there's other places to grab it, and it's the channels one. Okay? And you can put it where you want, but that's how you do it. And then your layers. But don't forget to shut some of these other things out. So, okay, well, let's wrap this up again. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Alex. I hope this helps some of you guys. And sorry, it's been a while since I put a new tutorial out. But we'll get some more out soon. So, happy painting. Thanks.